Okay, so let's try and make sense of this incredibly tense and confusing situation between the US and Iran. Honestly, just figuring out what the official story is has become a huge challenge, because it feels like it changes by the minute.
Right from the jump, American policy seems to be all over the place. On one hand, you have President Trump saying pretty clearly that he wants to appoint Iran's new leadership. But then, on the other hand, the defense secretary comes out and says, no, regime change was never the goal. The main thing was always missile destruction. So, which is it?
And look, when the people at the very top of a government are sending completely opposite messages, it becomes almost impossible for anyone, allies, enemies, even their own people, to figure out what the actual strategy is supposed to be.
So, just as we're all trying to wrap our heads around the political goals, the battlefield itself suddenly gets bigger. A mysterious drone strike hits Azerbaijan, and boom, a whole new country gets pulled into this mess.
And this is where the stories just completely collide. You've got Azerbaijan absolutely furious, demanding an apology from Iran for this drone attack. But Iran's response? It's a flat-out, we did not attack you. It just deepens the whole mystery.
That denial immediately blows the whole thing wide open and raises a really dangerous question. If it wasn't them, then who was it?
And that question, well, that's what pulls us right into the murky world of military deception and the very real possibility of a covert operation.
So, to really get what might be happening here, we have to understand this key term, a false flag operation. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book, really. You commit an attack, but you make it look like your enemy did it. That way, you get an excuse to retaliate or even escalate the whole conflict.
So, if it wasn't a straightforward attack, what was it? Well, two main theories are floating around. The first is that this was an Israeli false flag specifically designed to pin the blame on Iran and drag more countries into the war. The second possibility, that it was Iran, but their goal wasn't just to attack, it was to create as much chaos and confusion as possible. Because we have to be clear, behind all this political drama and these shadowy attacks, there is some very real and very formidable military power that you just can't ignore.
Iran has a massive arsenal. We're talking an estimated 3,000 missiles. That is not a small number, and it's a huge threat to any military force in that region.
And here's the kicker. Trying to track these things is a nightmare. They're not just sitting in silos waiting to be found. They're hidden away in these huge underground cities, or they're mounted on trucks that are always on the move, which makes them nearly impossible to find and take out.
And if that wasn't enough to worry about, Iranian officials have also been hinting that they have some kind of secret weapon. What is it? Your guess is as good as mine.
Then you've got these really strange reports. Mysterious earthquake tremors near a site they're calling Area 52. I mean, come on, that name is meant to raise eyebrows, right? And it's immediately sparked all this intense speculation about secret underground nuclear tests.
But you know, it's so important to step back from the geopolitics, the military hardware, and all the secret weapons, because behind all of it, there's a devastating, real-world human cost.
In what is just one of the most heartbreaking events of this conflict? A single airstrike, a single one, hit a school in Menes, Iran, killing 160 schoolgirls.
And this single quote just says it all. A father went to do the most normal thing in the world, pick up his little girl from school, and he came back with her body. I mean, that just cuts right through all the politics, doesn't it?
And when it comes time for accountability for these deaths, what happens? You guessed it, a cycle of denials. The U.S. insists it doesn't target civilians. Iran claims it only attacks military bases. And in the middle of it all, the victims and their families are left with no justice.
In all of this, it brings us to the incredibly dangerous and unstable reality we're in right now. We have a war that is escalating fast without any clear objective or endgame in sight.
You know, when you lay it all out like this, you see a pretty terrifying pattern, right? The confusion at the top directly fuels the escalation on the ground. And that escalation, it leads straight to human tragedy, while the truth gets harder and harder to find.
And that leaves us with the biggest, most unsettling question of all. In a war that's just swimming in contradiction, deception, and denial, how on earth does this possibly end? Right now, it really seems like nobody has a clue.